Hello, welcome to the most dangerous podcast. How are you, James?
Yeah, we're back. Season 3. Hooray. You have a
Yeah,
good break? I know we did a bit last week, didn't we? But how was yours?
yeah. Yeah, I'll explain that last week. It was a good break. We had a nice holiday with the kids.
Mm-hmm. Have you done anything this week of any interest?
No, just worked. Kick the microphone. Just worked really hard because I've obviously because I've been away for sort of 2 weeks. I had quite a lot of work to catch up on installing shutters for people.
Fun.
Now you know what I do. I put wooden shutters in people's windows. And they're a rigid thing. So you measure a hole, a window space. You order them. They take 10 weeks to come. You build them up. You install them on people's windows. You'd be amazed how many people think that after I've measured them and ordered them, the factory's making them, that it's okay to raise their windowsill by an inch. And that's what happened to me yesterday. So my job, I couldn't actually finish.
So you have to get them like remade if that happens? Because if they're bespoke, then to the window, then you'd have to send them back, wouldn't you? I mean, this is riveting stuff, I know, but
but they don't get sent back. They just go in the bin. £1,000 worth of shutters. But
who covers that
one,
cost then?
Well, the customer would have to,
because
they've moved the goalposts. But in this case, I will be able to make it work. But I'm going to have to take it to the workshop, cut it all down, adjust it, and
well, that's annoying. Yeah, so it means it takes longer time before you get paid. Then I guess because you have to do all the.
Absolutely, yeah, and I've got a VAT bill tomorrow, so
yeah, fun. A new Chinese opened up across the road from me this week.
Wow,
so that's good. You know, because like usually when you get a Chinese, it's just a bit away, isn't it? So you have to get a big order. Whereas now it's just across the road, so I can just get like a sauce, meat and sauce, and then just cook my own rice. So it's only like $7.50 for a meal. So I'll be eating more Chinese, which is good.
So you're having a takeaway with house rice?
Yeah. I mean, no, not all the time. Like, not if we're doing a proper takeaway, but just like you do with your curries. Just mean like, if I'm just feeling a bit peckish, I can nip over.
Absolutely,
some sweet and some chicken chow mein or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nip back, and that's like £6-7. Because Chinese is always. I'm not a huge fan of Chinese, to be honest. I always think it's sort of super overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, when you're ordering for 4 people, you're talking 40, 50, 60 quid easy.
Yeah.
So particularly for Chinese, it's cheaper for other takeaways. But yeah, I always find Chinese is very expensive. So it's good to have one over there.
Yeah, and you know that they inflate all the prices when you get them delivered and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. So Chinese on my doorstep. I've also got an award to give out this week.
An award?
Yeah, an award. It's the Bell End of the Week award. So I'm going to give you a bit of context. I don't want to waffle on too long.
Okay.
So my daughter, she's 14 going on 15. But
Please tell me she's not won the award.
No, no. She's 14 going on 15. She's one of the youngest in her school year. So all her mates are turning 15. She won't be 15 till next year.
Right.
But over the summer, she decided to get a nose piercing. Right. That's what you do when you're that age. Express yourself. You want to be a bit different. We were like, she paid for it with her own money.
Right.
She does house chores and stuff, and she gets money for that. And she was like, I want to do that. We were like, okay, that's fine. If that's what you want to do. Now we did ask her at the time. We said, now, do your school allow you to have these nose piercings? And she was like, well, not really, but people do have them, and they seem to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, if you're willing to take that risk, that's absolutely fine. So she went through the summer, and she started back at school on Tuesday, right? Now she's going into year 10, so she's just beginning the 2-year cycle, the 2-year GCSE cycle.
Yeah.
For those who don't live in the UK, basically what it is you do 2 years. At the end of it, you have massive exams, which feel really important to you at the time because they determine what you go on to do next. At the time, they make them out like the most important thing in the world to you at the time. I mean, we all
bookends your whole high school education, really, doesn't it?
Exactly. So it's the end. At the end of the 2 years, it's the end of the statutory requirement for your education. You can then go on to college or go into work or what have you. So she's beginning this, or she started on Tuesday. Now she's been really positive. Like, bless her, she's well into it. Like it's not like, it wasn't like at the end of a normal summer. She's gone like, I'm going to really try this hard. She even said to me, she's like, do you know what I want to do? I want to go to Oxford or Cambridge Uni. Like, I really want to do it. I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to work my ass off. and she's been really positive, and it's been great. And she's been coming home every day, and she's going, "Oh yeah, this is a great lesson. I've learnt loads already, and I've really enjoyed it." She did choices as well, so she's picked some subjects that she wants to do. She's doing like ancient history and media studies and music, and there's every lesson, yeah, brilliant, absolutely loved it. Now, bearing in mind, this is Friday today, so she's had that nose ring in all week, and no one has said a single thing, right? So today she went in, and she went to a science lesson. I won't say which type. So you do 3 types at GCSE. You do chemistry, physics, and biology. Now, I won't say which type because it might sort of single out the person that I'm talking about, which I don't really want to name, to be honest. But I'll just sort of try to work around it. So she had a science lesson today, and the teacher, because if you remember, you had to queue up outside the science lessons. I think it's because they had all the chemicals in the...
Yeah, they don't want you fucking about with stuff.
Yeah, they don't let you in. So she had to queue out. The teacher came out to let them all in. She went, and he went, "You, Nancy, take that out of your nose because you're not allowed them." So she couldn't, because it's like a really tiny little thing. Like you wouldn't even see it, and you only see it when she moves her head, that it sparkles a bit. It's not absolutely nothing. So she said to him, "I can't because it's a brand new stud. I really can't physically take it out because it's in there sort of for a good couple of weeks while
it's got like a twisted hook behind it." Yeah, Laura's done recently.
Yeah. So she's like, "I can't." So the teacher said to her, apparently, no, this comes with the caveat, this is her version of events, by the way.
Yeah.
The teacher was like, "Well, are you refusing to take this out?" So it went back and forth. "I can't." "You're refusing." "No, I'm not. I just physically can't do it at the moment." So she got removed from the lesson.
Wow.
And put into something called isolation, which is basically you go and sit in a room with some dude with a high-vis jacket on just while the lesson goes on, and you don't do anything. I think she did some of her other homework. And then she sat there for ages just pulling at her nose ring. It's not a ring, there's no stud. And eventually managed to sort of dislodge it and pull it out. She said it really hurt, and she'd done it, but she'd done it. So when she'd done that, she said, "Look, dude, I've done it." And the guy was like, "Right, you can go now." Now, by this point, she'd missed the whole science lesson. So bearing in mind, this is the first of this particular subject of science that she's had for this GCSE cycle. So where they give her information about the exams, the coursework, what she's going to be doing over the year, her books and things like that. So she's missed all of that, just simply because this teacher has been a fucking bellend, basically, and not thought rationally or reasonably about this at all. Now, I know might get pelters because some people will go, "Yeah, well, rules are rules, so she shouldn't have had that thing in the first place." But from a personal perspective, I think there are better ways of doing this.
Definitely.
Rather than remove her from the lesson fully, you could go, "Okay, well, you're not allowed those. I'll let you off this week, but if I see it again, then it's a problem."
Yeah.
Right? You take it home tonight and sort it out because you're not allowed them. Right.
Make her put a plaster over it.
Or something like that.
Cover it
just
all.
no one else has said anything about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Rules are rules. She's not allowed it. Other people do have them. No one said anything for 3 days in every single lesson she's been in. And just this dude has decided to pick it up. And because of that, has kicked her out the lesson for it. Yeah. Because of a little stud on her nose. And they make such a song and dance about attendance and how you can't miss things and how you have to be there all the time. But they're willing to pull her out of a very important lesson because of a little sparkly thing on her nose. So I'm furious. Like, I'm really pissed off.
Can I ask, did she manage to get it back in? Because I know if you take these things out too soon, you're fucked. You can't.
Yeah, no, she's had it for like a good couple, like the start of August, she got it. So she managed to put it back in. And, I just think it's completely unreasonable. And and like I say, she's been going in with a bounce in her step, she's really positive, and that's just taking the wind out of her sails. So now it's like, well, he's a knob, so I don't want to do his work anymore. And that's like, I know it's an immature thing, but she's 14, so that's why you deal with things. So so bell end of the week, that's Parswood School in Manchester. There's a teacher there who gets this week's bell end of the week award.
Excellent.
Well, over, sorry.
About half an hour ago, I read a story about a teenage girl in school. I don't know if your kids have them. My kids have got their school socks. Have got tiny little bows at the top of them. black socks.
Some do, yeah. I don't think it's compulsory, but some that you buy do have those little bows.
Yeah. And there was a girl in school, similar situation. She'd been in school for a few days that week with the little bows in her socks, and the head teacher spotted her. I'm saying the head teacher. It wasn't a teacher. It was like the head of the deputy head. Spotted her and told her that they weren't part of school uniform. They were too distracting to other children, and made her, with a pair of scissors, cut the bows off.
Oh my God.
Which then, as the day went on, developed big holes in the side of her socks. And she obviously came home crying to her mum that she was made to look like a complete, knob with big holes on the side of her socks.
It's just
see, I think that, and I know this is difficult for schools, and I used to treat staff like this. I think that good pupils should be allowed more benefits. So, for instance, your daughter, if she's trying really hard, working hard, she's not causing a lot of trouble, let her have her nose pierced.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think if there is a rule, this is what I'm saying. There is a rule, and she knew about it, but she did it anyway. And we did discuss it with her, and she said, "Look, if whatever happens, I'll take it on the chin."
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the fact that it's been ignored for 3 days, and it's only been picked up today. Like, must have been seen. Other teachers, even she said that the deputy head or when somebody high up has seen her face and seen it. So it's just that this one particular job's worth has decided to take issue with it, and there's better ways of dealing with it. That's the point. I don't believe in like this sort of like 2-tier thing. Better pupils get better benefits. I don't agree with that. It should be across the board, because I don't think it's very fair. But I think the issue here is that it's an overreaction.
Yeah, to send her home with a note.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact,
when she comes in on Monday, don't wear that.
Yeah, they phoned my partner to say that she was refusing to remove it, and she's been taken out of class. Like, my partner was in work at the time. I mean, it's a good job they didn't phone me, because I'd be like, why the fuck are you phoning me in the middle of work to tell me my daughter's got her nose pierced? Like,
yeah, I'm well aware.
Ridiculous. Like, anyway, right. I just felt really bad for her, because she's been so positive. Like, she's trying really hard, and it really does knock the wind out of yourselves when something so petty happens.
It is. So you get teachers though. I struggled with English in high school until year 9, and I got a teacher I got on with really well, and ended up getting an A in English with GCSE because
it makes all the difference. Yeah.
I enjoyed the lessons, and like you said, you just get a complete twat, and it just puts you off. Yeah. Maddie had it. My daughter's the next year on. She's actually taken her GCSEs this year, and she's almost already failed textiles because her teacher just picked on her. It was just horrible to her.
Just give up, don't you? But the ones that are nice, you kind of think, well, I'll put the effort in because you're sound, so I don't want to be a knob. So anyway, I'm sure we'll have much more fun with this along the road. So we'll... what should we do then? Move on to the main event, I suppose.
Yeah, we definitely don't need any padding now. So
yeah. I've had my rant. I just want to get off my chest. That's why I do this.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, people need to know these things. That's actually the way that some people out there deal with things, and it's just not right. It doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
There are obviously people that have something else going on in their life and are taking it out on someone.
Maybe it's just somebody who's
just a twat.
Just a twat. A job's worth. Maybe he's looking for a promotion. Who knows? Anyway, but he's got his award now, so that's good.
So moving on, James. Right. So we drew out the hat leaders of people last week.
Yeah, we did.
And I've picked mine, and the idea is hopefully you've picked your two, and it's my week to go first this week. And the reason leaders of people was my subject I put in the hat, and the reason I put leaders of people instead of just leaders is I didn't want to just do, like I said, the usual Hitler and stuff like that.
That's right. So you put it in the hat, and you pulled it out of the hat. Hang on.
I listened back to that episode, and it sounds really dodgy because you're going, yeah, leaders of people, that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. I noticed that. I noticed that as well. Yeah, it was genuine.
I promise you it was genuine. And so what I did is I found two leaders of people, and the one that we're going to do this week is a bit obscure because I started to look. When you look at the most infamous leaders, obviously Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, Pol Pot, and Pinochet comes up, and I haven't told you. I've told you, but I haven't told the listeners my next one. It could be one of those, but I started to look for other leaders that were maybe a bit more calamitous, a bit bad leaders that did stupid things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come up with one tonight that's just a really mad, interesting story.
Excellent.
So this week, James, we're going to be talking about he was king of Egypt, a chap called King Farouk I of Egypt.
King of Egypt. I'd not heard of him. Is this an old ancient one?
No, this
is the
is
pharaohs and stuff.
No, this is recent. I did actually. I looked at some of the pharaohs, and I looked at there was a Greek guy that I wanted to do. I think his torture method we'll talk about one week. Guy that invented. He commissioned the brazen bull. Have you ever seen that?
No, don't think
Big
so.
Brass bull that they put people inside and then lit a fire under them and cooked them alive in this brass bull.
Okay, then why does it have to be a bull?
I don't know.
It's just be a pot, can't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Basically, the guy that invented it, he was like, invent a torture method. This guy turns up and goes, right, I've invented this bull. Look at it. It's a big brass bull. You put someone in, light a fire under it. The guy goes, that's brilliant. Get in. And the inventor had to get in. That was it.
Oh, no.
First guy in it.
But we're not doing him.
No. So this guy was ruler of Egypt from 1936 to 1952. So quite recent.
So relatively recent, yeah.
So King Farouk. And I'm glad you haven't heard about him. His story is a bit mad.
Farouk. Does Egypt still have a king? Do you know?
I don't actually know. That's probably something I should have looked into.
Yeah. You can probably check.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't know if they're a bit like us, but they've still got like a king, but they've also got a democratic leader.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it was abolished in 1953. So I'm sure we're going to
probably after this fella.
We're probably going to find out why. Yeah. Okay.
So are you ready? Should we go?
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So today we're diving into the life of one of the 20th century's most eccentric monarchs, King Farouk I of Egypt. His reign was marked by extravagant excess, rampant kleptomania, and some truly baffling political decisions. As we just said, he ruled Egypt from 1936 to 1952, but it wasn't his governance that made him infamous, it was his obsessive needs to collect, steal, and indulge himself beyond all reason.
Okay, so right. So he's one of these, was he? A bit of a show off, a money bags type guy.
Well, what I've kind of got from it is that basically he was obviously the son of a king in a sort of a land where.
So he was the son or the king?
He was the son of a king, and then he became the king.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So he grew up, obviously, son of a king, spoiled rotten.
Yeah.
Got everything he wanted. Born in 1920, Farouk was raised in unimaginable wealth as the son of King Fahd I. From an early age, he was surrounded by opulence, extravagant toys, luxurious surroundings, and a never-ending stream of material indulgences. His childhood was far removed from the everyday lives of his subjects, creating a massive disconnect between him and the realities of a ruling country. Raised as the heir to the throne, Farouk was used to getting everything he wanted, which was only worsened when he became king.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, just spoiled kid.
Rotten, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose like Egypt. I guess it must be pretty wealthy. Like, it was in the grand. I was going to say compared to like other African countries, but I suppose that goes without saying. With all the corruption and stuff like that. So, I get the impression that Egypt does have quite a bit of wealth behind it. I don't know if there's oil there. I'm not sure.
Egypt's a big trade place now. It controls it's got the Nile, the Suez Canal runs through it.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like the gateway between the Far East and Europe. Really
saves you going around Africa, doesn't it?
That's it. This is one of the problems I've got just now. All my shutters are coming in late because they can't go through the Suez Canal because there's too much shit going on there.
Oh, right, yeah.
With pirates and the Gaza wars and stuff like that. There's too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
So
I get the impression that Egypt's sort of like does have kind of a big sway in the way that Africa's. It's like a powerhouse in sort of Africa. Like, I don't know. I'm just making it up, but I get that impression.
Most of this is made up. So, to prepare him for kingship, Farouk was sent to study in England, where it was hoped he would learn the arts of statecraft, diplomacy, and leadership. However, he had little interest in academics and governance. Instead, he developed a keen interest in luxury, wealth, and material possessions.
How did that work out? How was your course? He's got like a big fur coat on, like gangster chains.
What a course. Where was I? Rather than learning the responsibilities of a monarch, Farouk was more focused on acquiring expensive clothes, cars, and other lavish items. So here's one of the problems. Okay, he became king at 16.
Oh, okay.
So this must be after he's spent his time in England.
Surely not.
I don't know. I mean, they might have sent him there to do his high school. Maybe he'd just done his GCSEs.
I mean, did you not look this up?
I did look it up, but
so what year did he go to England? Because I thought, so what did he spend? Because if he's going there, sort of life of luxury, cars and things like that.
Yeah,
surely it would have been when he was older than 18.
Must have gone when he was king.
Yeah. So probably his advisors were like, "Dude, like you're off your head. You've got to go over there."
Have you ever seen the pictures of like Osama bin Laden when he was in like college in London and stuff like that?
Yeah, just got like flares on and stuff.
Weird. Yeah, he was like playing football and stuff. And
yeah.
So in 1936, Farouk's father, King Fahd I, passed away suddenly, leaving the teenage Farouk to inherit the throne at just 16 years old. Thrust into power at such a young age, Farouk was ill prepared to rule a nation facing economic difficulties and political turmoil. He quickly became known for his excesses, failing to understand the gravity of his position and the responsibilities that came with it. So you've got like a 16-year-old ruling.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
And I think if like 16-year-olds probably be susceptible to outside influences, maybe. So there might be like certain advisors who would sort of whisper in his ear and go, "I think you should do this," and then another one, "Maybe do this," and perhaps all the blame can't be sort of on his shoulders. Perhaps maybe he was ill-advised. You say?
Yeah, and the thing that I was thinking, 1936. Now that's right at the start of the Second World War as well, where there would have been a lot of shit going on
in Europe and
Egypt
stuff. Yeah,
being a massive trade route and stuff like that. You've got a 16-year-old ruler of the country. It's probably not a good idea.
No, his advisors there going, "This Hitler fella, he seems all right.
Yeah,
you want to get in with him.
Get in with him." So one of his biggest problems was he liked to steal things. Even though he had all this money and opulence and stuff like that, he liked.
What do you mean?
He liked to steal things. He was a kleptomaniac.
But what sort of like what, from like shops and stuff, like shoplifting, or are we talking like?
No,
land?
You're talking like not so much land, more things that from people, like nice things.
Like houses.
Well,
property?
We'll get onto it in a minute.
Okay.
We'll get onto it. So one of the most notorious aspects of King Farouk's personality was his kleptomania. Farouk developed a reputation for stealing anything that caught his eye, no matter how small or insignificant, and even when it belonged to foreign dignitaries or heads of state. His compulsive need to take things, combined with his position as king, allowed him to get away with theft on a grand scale.
Imagine,
basically,
like, this is some like diplomatic meeting. It's like, "Oh, you got a pen, mate?"
Yeah.
Just puts it in his pocket. The guy's like, "Have you got my pen?" Like, what pen?
Well, this next bit is one of the things that really caught my eye and wanted me to talk about this guy. One of the most famous examples of Farouk's kleptomania occurred during a state banquet held in honour of Winston Churchill. As the event progressed, Farouk discreetly stole Churchill's pocket watch right off the Prime Minister in person.
Bloody, what off him? So he like pickpocketed the
Took it,
guy.
yeah, took it off him.
And this was
And
actually Churchill as well, though.
actually, Churchill, yeah.
That's right. Like
Like-
look at that over there.
Probably one of the most scary British Prime Ministers ever.
Yeah,
like
he did have a particular aura, didn't he? But I mean,
Mate.
why did he should surely he could have got one from somewhere.
But that's the thing, and I think
This is mental illness. This is beyond.
I've tried to think about this, and I thought maybe the guy's got that much money that he can have anything he wants. So there's nothing nice about just being able to have stuff. Maybe it's more fun stealing it.
Yeah, and there's been no consequences either. Like, he's a king, you know. So if he steals something, what's going to happen? Not a lot.
That's it.
Probably.
Now, I've read a bit more about this, and basically, apparently they were at a dinner, and he literally stole Churchill's watch. And within a few minutes, Churchill knew, and he was like, "You've stolen my watch." And he was like, "No, I haven't." And this went on through the evening. Churchill kept going up to other people, going, "You fucking stole my watch." They're going, "Listen, Farouk, have you taken Churchill's watch?" "No." And apparently, towards the end of the night, he was like, "Yeah, I took your watch," and he gave it back to him.
Oh right, really? So he kind of.
But he didn't get away with it in the sense. Well, he got away with it because nothing really happened. But it was kind of like, Farouk,
at it again. Yeah. Where's my wallet?
Imagine going to dinner with the King of Egypt and he steals your pocket watch.
Yeah, just putting the cutlery in his bag and stuff.
Yeah. Farouk, that's your own cutlery. Why are you stealing it? So yeah, basically Churchill just couldn't imagine this surprise and disbelief.
Yeah, it's a bit. Well, I'm pretty surprised. It's really random, but like I said, this is sort of borderline mental health issues here, I think.
Oh, it is. It is. In another audacious move, Farouk once rode a luxury train belonging to the Belgian royal family and decided that he liked it so much that he would keep it. Rather than returning the train after his journey, he had the entire thing transported back to Egypt to add to his collection.
Wow. I mean,
the idea of a king...
Yeah, just keep on going. It doesn't stop at this station. Nah.
I like this. I fucking like this train. He stole the Belgian royals train. He was obviously in Belgium, and they were like, "Oh, while you're here, you can knock about in our train." And he sort of said to the driver, "Look, just take a right, go down Egypt that way."
Yeah, just go, just beeline it.
Have it. It's it's in his garden with plants around it. Oh, that's our train. No, it's not. It's train. Nothing there.
Flicking the V's out the window.
So Farouk's kleptomania knew no limits. Not even historic artifacts were safe. While visiting a museum in Europe, he set his sights on a ceremonial sword that had once belonged to none other than Napoleon Bonaparte. Wow. Rather than admire it behind the glass, Farouk simply took the sword for himself and brought it back to Egypt.
This is madness.
For him, even a relic of one of history's greatest military leaders was just another addition to his ever-growing hoard. So that was his stealing. That was one of his...
one of his pitfalls.
Yeah, one of his pitfalls, yeah. 16-year-old bored king. Well, I mean, obviously he wasn't 16 by this point, but, bored king. Everything's too easy to get. I can buy anything I want, so it's more fun stealing it.
I'll just have it.
So while the world was suffering through the hardships of World War II with food and resources being rationed, Farouk's focus was squarely on increasing his personal luxuries. He amassed a collection of over 1,000 tailored shirts, a fleet of luxury cars, including several pink Cadillacs, and rare antiques from around the globe. His palaces became overrun with opulent possessions, resembling warehouses of luxury rather than royal residencies, and Farouk's detachment from the struggles of his people became increasingly apparent as Egypt's resources dwindled, yet his collection of lavish items only grew.
Yeah, so he's a hoarder, isn't he?
Yeah. So I mean, again, I've read more into it, and apparently, They were just rooms and palaces with boxes of unopened, like brand new tailored shirts, just shitloads of them piled up.
Just because he can have them, because he wants
I can have them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the equivalent. You ever seen like that program where they sort of look into hoarders and stuff? I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah.
A few years ago, and it's usually just like newspapers, stacks of newspapers, and
Yeah.
it's that, but on a grander scale, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's like if one of them won the Euro Millions.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Buy
just like boxes of nice shirts and stuff.
Yeah. So Farouk's lifestyle wasn't just limited to material goods. His appetite for extravagant living was equally insatiable. He regularly hosted grand feasts and indulged in the richest foods, causing him to gain significant weight. As his waistline expanded, so did his reputation for gluttony. By the end of his reign, Farouk was known as much for his excessive eating as for his political mismanagement. His palace was a symbol of indulgence, filled with riches, while Egypt's economy floundered.
Jesus, it's like, what can go wrong next? You know.
I know.
So what's he gonna? It's a good job they don't have nuclear weapons. It's like accidentally press it or something.
I think this is where, like, obviously elected political leaders work better because they can be held accountable.
Well, exactly.
If someone's the king and the overall ruler of the country, then they can do what they fucking want, can't they?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? Democracy.
Yeah. So here's probably the other sort of main incident that I saw that I thought, I've got to do this. So there's two stories about this, and I've seen more of this version of the story, but I'll tell you both stories.
Okay.
So Farouk's behaviour wasn't just limited to kleptomania and luxury. His decisions were often driven by bizarre, irrational fears. For example, he suffered from recurring nightmares in which lions would attack him. Rather than seeking psychological help or dismissing these dreams, Farouk took drastic action. He ordered that all the lions at the Cairo Zoo to be shot to ensure that they wouldn't haunt him in his sleep.
Shit. So this is serious mental health.
Mental, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, how did you know it was them?
Yeah, it was them haunting, like the BFG blowing dreams in his head.
Yeah, well, how did you know it was the ones from the zoo? It could have been any lions, couldn't it?
I mean, yeah, if lions are going to get you, it's unlikely it's going to be the ones in the zoo, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the safe ones. They're locked up.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be them, is it?
But yeah, so Farouk believed that this was the only way to rid himself of the fear. Now, I've read that same story about 6 or 7 times, and on 2 occasions it actually states that someone told him that the best way to get over your fear of lions is to go out and hunt one and kill one.
Okay.
So he went to the zoo with a gun and shot them.
Oh, so he did it. That's not hunting.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel, isn't it? The equivalent of,
So I don't know whether that's true or whether he just ordered for them to be killed. Like, I've read that more times than I've read he went to shoot them.
Yeah.
So one of those two is true.
I could see it happening, given what I've heard about his sort of nature. But yeah, because I suppose we can't pin that on him if it's not. So.
No, but I can't imagine if he's a big fat guy living in a palace and the lap of luxury, him physically going to a zoo and shooting lions. I could imagine him sitting going, get them all shot.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, it's like I say, it's pretty simple, isn't it? He just has to put a gun through the bars. And, he doesn't have to he could wheel him there in some sort of wheelchair, take him in his pink Cadillac, So, yeah, maybe.
Either way, it didn't involve the lions.
No.
I don't know if his dreams stopped, actually, after they were killed.
Next
I'd like to know that.
Koala bears, and they all went.
Yeah.
It's like then it's like his royal advisor. It's like, oh, did you sleep well? I had a dream about you last night.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? You know the guy on Twitter, that Xavier?
Oh, yeah.
Dead sarcastic. Did I send you the thing the other day?
I've seen a few of his. I don't know if it's still active, but yeah. I saw one today about the pyramids. Did you see? Is that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's basically like a post, like, why the pyramids in Egypt? And then underneath it's like, because they're too big for the British Museum to move.
Well, this was like it was a girl, and there was a picture of her with a bob, and then a picture with like really short hair, like a pixie cut.
Yeah.
You seen it? It was
Yeah.
like some creep said he liked my hair, so I cut it off. So he's put, I like your neck.
Yeah. No, I don't know where he's come from. It's been around for years, I think that. But I don't know if he's still active or what.
It could be a team of people nowadays. Just
yeah.
It's funny. So here we go. Perhaps one of the most absurd moments of Farouk's reign came during World War II. As Egypt officially aligned itself with the Allies, Farouk decided to declare war on Nazi Germany. However, the timing of this declaration was nothing short of ridiculous. He did so just 3 hours before Germany surrendered. By the time Egypt's declaration of war was official, the conflict was essentially over. This move became a running joke and further highlighted Farouk's ineptitude as a ruler. But that's like, you ever played like Call of Duty and it capture the flag?
Yeah.
And you're in there for 5 minutes defending it, and some guy runs in the last 2 seconds and he gets as much XP as you do.
yeah.
Capturing the flag, and you're like, hang on. Yeah, he's like, yeah, we won that war, didn't we? We won that. Or like your team's 4-0 up and a sub comes on with 30 seconds to go and then runs about celebrating when the final whistle goes.
I mean, I wonder what his position was before that point then. So was he just neutral or,
Yeah, I mean, I think he was probably just in his big...
Just not asked.
Really asked about it.
Shooting lions.
Someone's probably... There's been some advisors probably said to him, look, I think the Allied are going to win this war. I think we should side with them. It'll look good. And then he's gone...
A bit late.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, we'll side with them. Oh, it's done. All right, we don't need to send any tanks or anything.
Yeah, interesting, yeah.
So, Farouk's political failures were numerous, but one of the most damaging was Egypt's humiliating defeat in the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Farouk's lack of leadership and his obsession with his personal indulgences meant that Egypt entered the conflict poorly prepared. The military was humiliated, and Farouk's failure to rally his people or provide strong leadership during the critical moment further eroded his legitimacy as a ruler. Basically, the military had no money because he'd spent it all. So
I mean, it's never a good look, is it, where the country's struggling and there's one particular person who's spending loads of cash.
Absolutely. So throughout his reign, Farouk was notorious for his disconnect from the struggles of his people. While the majority of Egyptians faced economic hardships, Farouk continued to live in unimaginable luxury, seeming oblivious to their suffering. His extravagant spending and eccentric behaviour made him deeply unpopular, and as the political situation in Egypt grew more unstable, calls for his removal grew louder.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for him because I do think there is serious mental health issues here. Someone should have stepped in and gone, dude, Yeah. I mean, it's what, the 1950s, 40s, 50s?
50s, yeah.
So it was a different kind of scale, I suppose.
I know.
It's not like today. But I think if it was today, someone would have gone, yeah, come on, let's rein this in a bit.
So by 1952, Egypt had enough of his reckless rule. The Free Officers movement, led by the charismatic young Gamal Abdel Nasser, staged a coup to overthrow the monarchy. And this will be, like we looked up earlier, this will be the end of the monarchy.
The end of the monarchy, yeah.
So Farouk, who was now widely regarded as an incompetent and corrupt ruler, was forced to abdicate. His reign of excess and indulgence had finally caught up with him, and he was sent into exile, marking the end of Egypt's monarchy.
Well, that's good. So he didn't get killed then, so that's good.
No.
I never like that when... Well, it depends who it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for him. I know he's a buffoon, but...
Yeah, he was... The thing is, he wasn't like a cruel leader or...
This is what I mean, he
was just incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too soon because I don't know what the living standards were like. He might have been so lavish with his money that people were literally starving on the streets. Like, I don't know. If that's the case, then shit, this is bad. But it's clearly there's a problem with him. You know?
But if he was brought up as the spoilt son of a king, that's all he knew. He just thinks that's how we live.
Maybe, yeah, but still, there's still a ceiling, isn't there? Like,
yeah,
you still got to kind of like, if you have any sort of,
Mm-hmm.
don't know, empathy or insight, you kind of go, all right, well, I'll have a nice car because I'm the king, but I don't need 50 of the same car because that's just ridiculous. That's just.
So even in exile, Farouk's greed didn't wane. Before leaving Egypt, he ensured that his royal yacht was loaded with as much treasure as he could carry.
Brilliant.
He took tons of gold, jewels, and other valuables with him as he fled the country.
It is right.
Pockets full of big gold bullion and stuff. It's fine, I'll get my bullion by post. So this final act of self-indulgence only solidified his legacy as a monarch who cared more about wealth and luxury than the well-being of his nation. You can imagine him sailing away and they'll all stand in the harbour giving, fuck you, fucking greedy fat bastard.
Yeah, no, that makes me sort of like him less now.
Yeah. So Farouk spent the rest of his life in exile in Italy, where he continued to live lavishly until his death in 1965. His appetite for indulgence never left him. By the end of his life, Farouk was reportedly weighing over 300 pounds.
I can't do pounds.
Well,
what's stone?
200 pounds is 14.5 stone, so it's 21 stone, really.
Right, okay. Yeah.
21, 22 stone. I only know that because I'm 200 pounds.
40, that's not right.
Not really, no. I'll be about 9 stone after my bike ride in 2 weeks. So, fittingly, his life ended in a restaurant after he collapsed during a particularly large meal. He actually ate himself to death.
Yeah, died at the table.
Yeah, just facing a cheeseburger. Even in his final moments, his legacy of excess and overindulgence was on full display. So that's King Farouk.
Yeah, I feel a bit sad, actually, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
You summarise it by just, he was a shit king.
Well, so shit that they decided not to have a king anymore.
Yeah,
so that's it's the gold standard, isn't it? It's that bad that they kind of go, no, we can't do this.
I don't know how dangerous he was. He was dangerous to the lions, but when I saw this guy, I thought, I want to talk about him. He's worth a podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I've never heard of him. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, it would be interesting to see how it affected the actual people on the ground.
Yeah.
Because if they were in a poverty-stricken society, then obviously it makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
If they were kind of doing okay, I mean, it doesn't make it that much better, but at least he's not completely depriving the citizens of a decent standard of life. That's not to say it's right. Do
you not think he could have been so disconnected from the people that he just wasn't aware of what life was like outside the palace?
Yeah, it's strange that though, because not all kings do that. So I understand that angle.
Yeah,
but there have been kings and queens in the past that have been good to their subjects, as they call them. Are you a subject or a citizen, Fraser?
Me? I don't know. Citizen of what?
The UK. I'm not a subject of the king, but anyway. So there are people, kings and queens in the past who have been good to their subjects and things like that. Whereas it's just strange that this has happened to this guy. Like, you say it's kind of like, he's just had a complete disconnect, but so did those others in the past.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot to do with the mental illness type.
Oh, he definitely had a mental illness.
But good for him because he sailed off with a yacht full of money.
Yeah.
So happy days.
Be like that, the mysterious cities of gold going off on the boat.
Yeah.
But he already had the gold. So.
Yeah.
Stupid comment. So that was King Farouk. Yeah, so next week we're carrying on with Leaders of People with your choice, James.
Yeah.
Are you going to give us a clue, or are we going to find out next week?
I think I know what I'm doing. I'm not 100% sure, so I won't bother with the clues. Just in case I change my mind over the weekend.
I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. All right.
So that's it. It's been the Most Dangerous Podcast, Season 3 we're on, and that was Episode 1, King Farouk.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget the socials and stuff. Log on and sign in and like whatever.
Yeah.
Kids. Cool. All right. Thanks very much, Fraser. Take care.
Very, very quickly. I know for a fact we've got more than 2 listeners.
Oh, right. That's a relief.
I don't know how much more, but I know we've got more than 2 listeners. I've only had 2 sponsorships.
You and me.
Yeah.
There are 2.
I've only got 2 sponsorships. I'm doing my bike ride in 2 weeks. So come on, get your wallets out.
Put your hands in your pocket.
Yeah. Or if you don't want to sponsor, share it. See what you can do.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Anyway, thanks very much, James. I'll speak to you next week.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
I know what you're saying. Perhaps don't put this in, though.